Hello, my dear students. Hope you all are fine. Today, in this particular lecture, we are going to discuss Mendelian genetics. Unit number 1, paper number 503, that is Molecular Biology and Bioengineering. Unit number 1 consists of Introduction to Genetics and Hereditary. In the previous videos, we have already discussed and studied various key terminologies which are helpful for you to understand the genetics in better manner. Today, we are going to discuss or carry out the analysis of the genetics, hereditary, and its introduction. More focus today we will be giving, that is on the Mendelian genetics. Okay, so these are the list of the things we are going to study in this particular lecture. First is introduction to Gregor Mendel. Who was he? Why he performed the various experiments. Second, we will be studying, that is the laws of inheritance. Then we are going to study various types of crosses: monohybrid cross, dihybrid cross, etc. Then we will be studying various laws and patterns of inheritance. Next, we will be studying, that is test cross and back cross. Then we will be studying some of the things which are beyond Mendelian genetics. We will be also studying the Punnett square. And last, we will be studying something related to incomplete dominance. Right? So, hope you all will enjoy this lecture. You will gain the knowledge and understand. Okay. Okay, this is the photograph of the great Gregor Mendel, who was known as the father of the genetics. He used the Pisum sativum plants, that is the normal garden pea plants, for studying various laws of inheritance. In his study, he used around 10,000 pea plants, and he used various experiments to prove various types of laws. He was born in Austria in 1822, right? Before Mendel came into existence, people used the word heredity and genetics. They were known as the blending. Blending word, you all might be aware that whenever we are mixing something, one, two, three, four, five things together and making a new form, that is blending. Blender, everybody might be having at their home, blender. So it blends the things and mixes it very well. But then later on, he said that this blending is not actually blending, but it is giving various results of the inheritance. Next, which characteristics were used by Mendel for studying the pea plants, right? So he took 7 different characteristics. The first characteristic he took into the consideration was the shape of the pea seeds, that is round, either or wrinkled. Next, color of the seeds, that is yellow or green. Then color of the flower, either the flowers will be purple or the white. Next characteristic which he used or he studied was inflated or ripe pods. The pods, inflated means it will be just unflatted. Sorry. And next, he studied green or yellow unripe pods. Either it will be green color or it will be yellow color. Next, he used, that is the position of the flower. Either they are axial or they are terminal. Next and last characteristic used by Mendel was the height of the plant. The plants were either tall or dwarf. Dwarf means small. Next, before giving various laws, it is very important to understand monohybrid cross. What is monohybrid cross? We are already aware, a cross between the two parents that are differing in one pair of alternating or contrasting character. One pair, suppose we are taking one character, that is height. So capital T and capital T, and small t or small t. Either you are taking tallness, that is capital T and capital T, dwarf. So small t and small t. So what does capital T represents? TLL for the tall height, small t dwarf. Now what does this indicates? Homozygous tall plants. Homozygous means all the things which are present inside this plant. That is homozygous. We have already discussed this word, capital T and capital T, right? So dominancy will be there, naturally the tall plants, or it is homozygous dwarf plants. Here it will be small t and small t. So how we are going to perform this cross? Right, capital T into small t upon small t. See, we are taking alternating characters of one single characteristics, right? We are taking height. So height can be either tall or dwarf. So how we are going to perform this cross? Okay. See, this is tall plant, this is dwarf plant. As a result, what you are going to get? Parental true breeding homozygous plants. Yes, F1 generation is heterozygous. Why heterozygous? We'll come to know. Hope you all are getting what I want to say. Suppose you are taking capital T and capital T. You are crossing it with the dwarf plants, that is small t and small t. So when you are crossing this, you are getting all tall plants. Why? Because this T is dominant, right? Now you will get more idea by studying this Punnett square. What is Punnett square? Okay, it is a useful tool to do genetic process, right? It is just like a square. If you want to understand this in a better way, take a book pen and start drawing it. You will be able to get idea in a better manner, right? You draw a square, make 4 pens. Now see, for monohybrid cross, you need a square divided by 4. It looks like just a window pen if you are taking a window and 4 sections are there. Why we use Punnett square? This is very important and can be asked in one marker for the determination of genotypes and phenotypes of the offsprings. Now, what is genotype and what is phenotype? We all are aware. Genotype types means genetic constitution, genetic makeup of an organism, and phenotype means the observable characteristics. Now, how you are going to use this Punnett square? See, determine the genotype. Your steps are given. You can use it in future whenever you want. You have to just take this square, right? Write down the cross or matting, write parent and genotypes this, and cross you are going to do with this. How next? What we are going to do? You have to split the letters. In the square, you have to split the letters, right? You have your parental and here is the cross, right? So capital T, small t and small t. Now you have to make a cross. So start drawing it in your books. It will be easier for you to understand. When you are crossing capital T and small t, the resultant you are going to get is capital T and small t. Here all three are same. So you will get such type of results. So what will be the conclusion from this? Genotypes 100% capital T and small t. Genotype means inside the organism or inside the plants, this will be the result. Whereas phenotypes, that means 100% tall plants. Genotypes, there is small t also, but it is recessive. So plants will be tall. That tallness will be seen in the phenotypes. Next, monohybrid cross. If you let F1 generation self-fertilize, the next two monohybrid cross would be, genotype would be 1:2:1 ratio, and phenotype will be 3 tall plants and 1 dwarf plants. Now try drawing this and understand. See, if you are doing like this, capital T means if you are let F1 generation self-fertilize, that was parental generation. This is F1 generation. So F1 generation, you get capital T and small t, right? So if you are crossing it like this, you will get this type of result. 3 will be completely tall, where in genotype 1 will be total, tall, dominant, right? Other two will be, it will be having LLs of both tallness and dwarfness, but tallness is there, so it will be dominant, and one would be such where it will be dwarf. So if you are having 4 plants, if this one generation is self-fertilizing, then you will get the result that 3 plants will be tall in the height, 1 plant would be dwarf in the height. So phenotypic ratio is 3:1. So this is very important to understand. Even in competitive exams, it can be asked the genotypic ratio of a particular plant. If F1 generation is self-fertilizing, the ratio will be, both the options will be given, 1:2:1 and 3:1. You have to think that what is genotype and what is phenotype. So that is very important. Hope you all are getting what I am trying to say over here. Next, if the parent is homozygous means same, what will be the result? Genotypes will be 100% tall plants. Phenotype, tall plants naturally. See, capital T is being crossed with the small t and small t, that is dwarf. See, here we are talking about parent. So homozygous parent is there, then you will get genotype capital T and small t, that is tall and dwarf, and phenotype will be tall plants. You only need one box to understand. Hope you all are getting what I am making you understand. Why genotypes will be 100% like this? Because you are taking homozygous. But if this G is placed over here, then the parent will be heterozygous, and then your ratio will change. If you are having another cross, that is heterozygous cross. So start performing. This T over here, this T over here, then this here, this here. Hope you are getting now 50-50 ratio. Why? Because this T and this T, if they are crossing, you are getting tall plants. But if this T and this T is there, right? This is one of the shortcuts we are using. Why? Because small t and small t, it is naturally going to give you dwarf plant. So if parent is heterozygous, right, then phenotypes will be 50% tall plants, 50% dwarf plants. Genotype will be 50% tall and 50% dwarf. Next we are taking is the example of the flower color. So it will be more interesting for you to understand. If you are crossing a homozygous purple flower with homozygous white flower. Now some of you might be thinking why we are taking purple and white flowers, why we are not taking purple and white and white. So there is no need of crossing. If you are crossing purple and purple, you are going to get purple, or vice versa with white. So if you are taking homozygous purple and homozygous white, if you cross a homozygous purple flower with homozygous white flower, what will be the result? I hope you all are getting correct answers with you. This lecture is bit having mathematics with it. So if you are not liking maths, start liking it from now. Yes, you will get purple flowers. Why? Because capital P, that is for purple flower is dominant. But if it will be heterozygous, then all the flowers will be purple in color. No, all the flowers will not be purple in color, but it will be half purple and half white. But if this is F1 generation, naturally it is prozygous. Clear? 3 will be purple. Same law is applied over here like the previous one. 3 will be purple, 1 will be white. There 3 were tall, 1 were dwarf. So genotype will be capital P. Second is capital P and small p, and one that is dwarf. Clear? I'm keeping it here for a few seconds so you will come to know about the results. I hope this lecture I am delivering like we are interacting so you can come to understand what I am making you understand. Now we are coming to the laws of Mendel. This law you all are aware better than me. You all are understanding also and you all are aware also. But it is in our syllabus. So first is the law of dominance. Second is law of segregation. Third is law of independent assortment. Mendel's law of dominant. In a cross of parents that are of pure for contrasting traits. Contrasting traits, only one form of the trait will appear in the next generation. It is never such that if it is capital P and small p, then only one of the things will be dominant. That is, the flowers will be purple. Next, the offsprings that are hybrid for a trait will have only the dominant trait in the phenotype. Here we are talking about genotype and phenotype. So what it is saying, offsprings that are hybrid for a trait will have only the dominant trait in the phenotype. The one which is dominant that will appear inside the phenotype. So this is law of dominance. In short, it wants to explain that only the dominant things will be expressed in the first generation, right? Next is law of segregation. Segregation means to depart, right? We are making things separate. During the formation of the gametes, at the time of gamete formation, the two alleles responsible for a trait separate from each other, right? Alleles for a trait are then recombined at fertilization, producing the genotype for the trait of the offsprings, right? During the formation of the gametes, two alleles responsible for a trait separate from each other. Suppose you are taking example of height, capital T and small t. So this capital T and small t will be segregated, right? This will be separated. And the third law, that is law of independent assortment. Independent word, right? That means they are having no influence of one or the other thing. So alleles for different traits are distributed to sex cells independently of one another. It is never such that capital T and small t are brothers, so capital T will sacrifice. No, no, small t, you please go. It is never such. Again, I'm repeating, alleles for different traits are distributed to the sex cells independently, means pink and purple or purple and white flowers, or the pods of the plant will not have influence on each other. They will be separately segregated as the law of segregation during the formation of the gametes, right? So it can be like that color of the seed will be green, pod will be inflated, flower of the color will be either white or purple. So each one is having its individual distribution. So that's why it is termed as law of independent assortment. Here is one case of cystic fibrosis. If two parents carry the recessive gene of cystic fibrosis, that is, they are heterozygous, 1 in 4 of their children is expected to be homozygous for the cystic fibrosis. If it is capital C, it is normal carrier, no symptoms, and if it is small c and small c, has cystic fibrosis. This is one of the diseases which occurs commonly in humans. Why? Because we are now having the idea of Punnett square. You just see capital C and capital C. This is normal, then 3 will be normal, but 1 is having the influence. Next is tri-hybrid cross. Now we all are aware, we understood mono-hybrid cross in a well manner, so this will be easier for you to understand. See, a cross between two parents that are differing in two different characteristics, two different contrasting characters. For example, seed shape and seed color. Or you can take here the color of the flower and height of the plant, right? Two characters, your example is given. We are taking over here the color of the flower and height of the plant. Mating that involves parents that differ in two gametes. For example, flower color, that is purple, which is dominant, and white, which is recessive. And stem length, that is the height of the plant, that is either tall or either dwarf. Dihybrid cross if we are performing. Now, same thing we are going to use capital T, that is tallness, purple, that is for capital P, and here the recessive characters is tallness or shortness or white. So possible gametes for the parents, that is what will be there. Now make a table, start drawing it, you will be getting what I want to say. You just have to do the same thing, but in monohybrid cross, one things will be taken into consideration. Here you have to take the 4 boxes, this and this. You have to just make a cross, T, P, then T and this P. So this, here, this. Now if you are crossing this, what you will get? Such type of result you will get. All the plants will be tall and purple. Though all of them are having recessive characters, only one will be expressed according to law of dominance. Second, all will be distributed individually, separated, this T, this P, and third, all will have influence of each other. No, all will not have influence of each other. Each one will be distributed in its own manner. So the first generation you will get, that is all tall plants and purple colored flowers, that is this indicates the phenotype, this indicates the genotype. This is flower color and stem length. Clear? While using Punnett square, we discussed that possible gametes is this, so there will be only one box, that is capital T and small t and capital P and small t. So first generation, all tall purple flowers, and genotypic will be this. Now, if F1 generation is allowed to self-pollinate, again Mendel observed 4 phenotypes. So there will be again same thing, that if the plants will be like that, there will be 9 tall plants, 3 short with purple, 3 short with white, and 1, see, tall purple, here tall purple, right? Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, right? These 9 will be tall and purple. Next will be tall and white. Why tall and white? See, where we will find white? Tall but not purple. So tall and white. Tall, white. Tall, white. Tall, white. Right? So 3 will be tall and white. 3 will be short. Short and purple. Short and purple. Short and purple. These 3 will be short and purple. Last one will be short and white. So this one will be totally recessive. Hope you are getting this. See in dihybrid cross, 9 tall and purple, 3 tall and white, 3 short and purple, one short and one white. So the phenotypic ratio will be 9 is to 3 is to 3 is to 1. You might sound right now that, oh, this is very much difficult, but if you are really enthusiastic for studying this, just take a book and pen and start doing it. You will automatically get what I want to say. This is the thing. Next is test cross. When you have an individual with an unknown genotype, you have to do test cross with homozygous recessive individual. For example, a plant with purple flowers can be either this or either this. Either it will be having both the characters dominant or one dominant, one recessive. So you want to understand that what is the genotype of the plant, you need to perform the test cross, right? Therefore, you have to perform. So P into question mark into this. So you will get the result. Test cross you are performing to get 100% purple flowers, then the unknown parent was homozygous. If not, then it was heterozygous. Many words we are using together to understand this. Again, I'm repeating this. If you get all 100 purple flowers, this your one will be question mark. If you are doing this, you will get this result. All purple, the plant will be homozygous and the parent will be capital P and capital P. If you are getting 50% white and 50% purple, then next will be, I hope you all are understanding. Dihybrid cross, you are not moving, you are crossing, so you will get the result. If this is there, you have to just make a square, draw TT and PP. So one will be this, one will be this. So capital, here all will be dominant, here dominant, here dominant. We are talking about phenotype dominant, but some will be short. Next is beyond Mendelian genetics, that is the incomplete dominance. One allele was dominated over another. The phenotypes were easy to recognize, but sometimes the phenotypes are not very obvious. So that we are going to discuss change. So incomplete dominance when heterozygous phenotype is intermediate. Snapdragon flower came into many colors, red, white, pink. Red into white, you are getting pink. So that is incomplete dominance. Why incomplete dominance? Because red and white, when blending is there, as we have studied in the first slide, you will get this kind of result. When F1 generation is self-pollinated, then again we will get this type of result, 1 is to 2 is to 1. When F1 generation means all pink flowers are self-pollinated, then you will get 1 red, 2 pink and 1 white. Actually, this is very easy to understand, but thing is that once you get to know the words, what each word is describing, it will be easier for you to understand. Red and white, pink. But if pink and pink are there, then pink and pink, then you will get red, 2 pink, 1 white. So 1 is to 2 is to 1. So this is incomplete dominance when you cross pink with white and pink with red. So just do it. Have a look at your results, what you are going to get. This is your homework or puzzle or quiz. So to make this video more interesting. So just do across and let me know the results. Right? So with this, we are summarizing this lecture. I know you will be feeling that all the things are so much messy, but again, when you are going to watch this video second time and third time, automatically you will be knowing or getting what I want to say in a clear manner. Also, I suggest you that in standard 11th and 12th, We have already studied all these things. Those who are from Gujarati medium background or from English medium background, just open your textbooks. If you are not having, it's okay. Online it is available on net. You can download it. Just read that chapter line to line. It will be very, very, very much clear for you to understand the whole lecture of today, because all the things whatever I have discussed already are given there inside that book. Just once go through it. It is my humble request. Next, chromosomes carry heredity information. Next, chromosomes occur in pair. New combination of genes, monohybrid versus dihybrid cross, various Mendel's principles. These are the list of few reference books which we are going to refer every now and then. If we are not having it right now, I have given you the one easier manner that you can refer your old previous year textbooks, right? So start going through it, start doing self-study, right? All the best. I hope you all will be safe at the home, right? So, best of luck and thank you all.